I want to bring in now Hugh Hewitt, MSNBC political analyst and host of the Hugh Hewitt radio show, and also NBC News and MSNBC politics senior editor Beth Fooey. To both of you, thanks for being with me this morning. And I will start with you, Hugh. You have Hillary Clinton, who said last night that voters have made up their minds about the emails a long time ago. Is that enough for her to say that, and what more should she say?
Well, she can't say much, Francis, and I think I agree with what Kristen just said. This could not have come at a worse time for her. People have made up their minds generally, but will they come out to vote? And certainly if you've had a family member who's been investigated, prosecuted, convicted, you're wondering about a double standard in American justice. And even if Secretary Clinton wins, I think looking out beyond this, we need a special prosecutor to look into the FBI's conduct of this case, because everybody is mad at Director Comey this morning. I mean, he could play quarterback for the Browns. He's getting so many hits. It's a terrible day for the FBI. It's a very great shock to the Clinton campaign. And the ABC News tracking poll has it down to 2 points this morning. 2 points. Wow.
Well, given that, Hugh, I'm curious in your thoughts when it comes to James Comey. And the fact that he hasn't been saying anything more and not expected to, nor releasing more information about these emails. Who has more to gain by his silence or not knowing anything more, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump?
Well, the voter loses. I do not know what he does. Jack Kingston, the congressman, was right when he said he answered Congressman Sensenbrenner in a way that obliged him to send this letter yesterday. He had said everything was done and tied up and the bow was on it. New emails arrive, and Pete Williams said a tranche of emails. It's sort of like the Marianas Trench of emails. There are thousands of them, and I don't know how you wrap it up in 10 days, and I don't know what you can say, absent if they find the proverbial smoking gun, they should put it out.
And I asked you about that, Beth. You know, what more can Hillary Clinton say about this? And in your words, this, with 10 days to go, is the worst case scenario. How do they write it?
Yeah, well, Hugh's right in that both sides are really mad at Director Comey and trying to parse through this and figure out how to approach it, because we just don't know enough. The campaigns don't know enough to say, well, this is what the emails are showing or what they're even trying to probe. So it really, it does put Hillary Clinton in particular in a bad spot, because she has to defend herself against what? We don't know what she's defending herself against, but she needs to. I mean, she is inarguably ahead in this race. Yes, maybe the polling's gotten a little tighter, but she has been ahead in national polls and in all the battleground states now for weeks. It would take quite a lot for that ship to turn around and suddenly be against her. On the other hand, with 10 days to go, she's suddenly on the defensive about something. Republicans have a tool that they can use against her. And the whole issue, I think, that he raised was of voter motivation. If you're somebody who is still trying to make up their mind, or you were sort of inclined to vote for Clinton but weren't excited about it, is this going to keep those voters home? And if that's the case, what does that do? Not necessarily to her. She's probably ahead enough at this point that she's likely to win. It could drag down some folks down ballot.
Yeah, especially, Hugh, when you have early voting well underway, and then you look at how that's been going lately. Hillary Clinton leading in many of the critical battleground states. Is there really a concern when it comes to this that may upend? Go ahead.
There were 122 million votes cast in 2012. 20 million votes, according to your expert earlier in the program, have been cast already. But that leaves about 100 million people, and so it's going to have a dramatic effect on people. And we don't know about anything except voter intensity. There isn't one Trump voter out there who is going to stay home as a result of this. They're going to run to the polls. They're going to do the proverbial crawl through broken glass to get there. Secretary Clinton's support, much thinner, already damaged by the Obamacare premium explosions, already damaged by a campaign that has been less than inspiring. They need Michelle Obama. They need the president out there. And she is going to Florida today. Now, Florida should have been locked down if she was winning.
Well, so what is she doing? What is she saying within this plan, as we saw Kristen Walker there? What is the message that needs to get out there in these crucial 10 days for that to happen, given the fact that right now it's all about this and saying, yeah, Director Comey release more, but until he does, what are they left with?
They're left with silence. They really can't say anything because Director Comey cannot release these emails. First, a subpoena may be required. Second, it's not up to Hillary Clinton or John Podesta or me or anyone to say do this or do that to an FBI active investigation. They're stuck with an on-fire campaign plane that's going down for 10 days, and whether or not Trump can take advantage of this, that remains to be seen. A discipline message on the Obamacare premiums and the FBI's haphazard handling of this case may, in fact, impact the result dramatically.
But how do you do that? From what he was saying, can't do anything, can't say anything, but how can you be on the offensive? Can you both do that, not say anything, but be on You know, the defensive at the same time, I should say, defensive?
You know, I mean, with respect to Hugh, what Hugh said, I mean, Florida's always going to be a very tight battleground, always has been. It's the deciding state. So the fact that she's campaigning there is you know, doesn't mean that there has been a failure on behalf of the Clinton campaign. She doesn't need Florida as much as Trump does, and Trump has been behind slightly in Florida. So she's just trying to nail that down into her camp. They are following the game plan that they've had all along, which is to basically target in on those last-minute, really crucial battlegrounds: North Carolina, Ohio, Florida. She's going into Arizona, as we know, trying to make a little bit of a play for a red state. I don't think any of this changes her calculation. She does need, however, to be prepared with an answer about this.
Right.
And that's the real question, is what is the answer? Because nobody really knows what's being probed here. She's just going to have to go back to that message that she gave last night at the presser, which is, you know what, everybody's known about my emails for a year and a half. If you're upset about that, you're going to vote one way. If you're not, you're going to vote another way.
And Hugh, very quickly, in this election cycle where maybe not much may surprise you anymore, is there anything that you're hearing from your listeners that may be surprising in the turn of this with this development?
So many October surprises, and I don't think we're done on either side. The Russians dropped another 1,000 set of Podesta emails last night via their front at WikiLeaks. Lots more is going to happen. I'm sure that the Clinton campaign has kept the very best oppo on Donald Trump for last. The George W. Bush DUI dropped on the last weekend in 2000.
So I was going to say, for this election cycle where each headline is one-upping the last one, you still think with this story and this new renewed look with the FBI, it's going to be one up in the next 10 days?
You bet, more than one.
Oh boy, and we'll have you all back to talk about it as we have. Thank you, Beth Fooey, Hugh Hewitt, as always. Great to have you with me.